Hello dears, Natalie Locke here for episode 6. Is it 6? Yeah. I don't know why that was a struggle. Maybe because I put the description of he had an emphasis on the word you. Are you joining in on this video? No? Well, you're in the shot. See? There you are. Right there. So you're going to step over there now? Okay. Let me finish. Hello dears, Natalie Locke here for episode 6 of Write the Story. This episode series, whatever you want to call it, is all about these flash fiction writing prompts out of the book that I just showed. And then in the writing prompt of the story, you also have 10 words that you are to include in the story. These 10 words are very random and it's kind of weird at times, but you get creative and it's really fun. Now, if you want to join in on this writing prompt, I am about to give you the story name and the 10 words that you're to include in the story. After I give those, pause the video and then write your story. Now, how I've been doing this so far is that I outline for 5 minutes and then I write continuously. For me, it usually takes 15 to 20 minutes depending on how busy I am with my kids or the dogs need to go out or something. Something usually comes up, but I try to get it done within 15 to 20 minutes on the writing. With the space that you're given here, since you don't have the same amount of space, I finally counted up the number of words I had for each story. Well, for one story, and then I'm going to average it. But you don't want to write over 300 words. I've been saying 500 for the past 5 episodes. So 300 words or less is what you want to go with. Now for this week's story. This week's story is a lunch date gone wrong. The 10 words you want to include are eruption, salad, fire, career, assume, roller skate, draw, promise, full moon, sweet. So go ahead, pause the video if you want to write this out yourself, and then you can play it again if you want to contrast and compare. But for the rest of y'all, or if you're done pausing, here's the outline that I came up with. For the outline, I had fun with this, and I feel like I got really creative with how I'm going to use these words. Well, some of them. Such as the wind erupted into the building. You know how it just that gush of wind? I felt like that was a powerful word to use in that sense. The next one is I wanted the one of the characters to say, "Salad is what my food eats." Cool story, bro. I sometimes like salad. I sometimes like meat on top of the salad, and then I sometimes just want a salad by itself. I like salad and everything. I actually saw a TikTok. Sorry, digress. I saw a TikTok where this girl was eating a salad, and everyone's like, "God, you just like salad? Is it that good or something?" She's like, "No, I just really like ranch, and there's only so many acceptable ways to eat ranch in society." And I just thought that was hilarious. So with the next word, full moon, I kind of jumped around in the order. With the next word, full moon, I really wanted it to be kind of like an exasperation of like, God, is it a full moon tonight? Like just that, are you kidding me kind of moment. I mean, it's a lunch date gone wrong. I was kind of trying to give the character like a bad day all around, and this was just the cherry on top. But that's where I was going with that one. The next one was I figured somebody was going to say a sweet smile, that the other person had a sweet smile. I wasn't sure if it was going to be internal or not, who it was going to be, the guy or the girl. But I did know going into this that I wanted it first person from the girl's perspective. For assume, I was like, hey, she assumes it's the blind date, because that was my mindset the whole time. But this one I felt creative on. The girl has been on so many blind dates that it's practically a second career. So I found that funny, a funny way to use the word career. For promise, I said that the friend promised that this blind date was going to be okay. It's not. For draw, I decided to give the male character kind of a little tick that he did. So he draws out the word you, like you, and kind of put an emphasis on it. And so that was just a little thing that he did. And then I had fun with this. So for fire, a fire started in the kitchen and the whole restaurant has to evacuate. And not to completely ruin, but I will say at the very end, with the roller skate, I kept it the same in the outline as it is in the story. I'll just leave it at that. As I was in the middle of writing, I was like, oh, I want to put this in, because I was trying to give, it was kind of fun. I kind of made the male character not great at all. And I was going to have them suggest that they pay for their own half. But actually, the way it plays out, it kind of works out better. And now I got to add an extra line at the end, which I was already over anyway. So, little thing, I filled in all the way to the bottom, and I had to start filling in lines up here at the top. Little extra, but it's okay. I used all 10 words. Here's the thing about my outline. All the words stayed the same. All of them. I mean, sweet smile, I wasn't quite sure where I was going to go, but I kept it as sweet smile. I just finalized who was going to say it and who was going to receive that compliment. So that was the outline. Now, here's the story. With a deep breath, I got the courage to leave the warmth of my car. The wind slammed my door shut right when I let go. I'm glad I texted the guy that I was going to be a minute or two late. The wind erupted through the door as I stepped inside. There was a man seated in a side booth wearing a black hoodie. "Are you Chris?" The gentleman looked up with a sweet smile. "You assume correctly," he replied. "You must be Catherine. Sarah's description didn't do you justice." He drew out the word "you" each time he said it. At least so far, that was the only mildly annoying thing. Sarah promised this date would be worth it. Dates lately have been feeling like a second career. "Thank you very much. I apologize for my delay. Did you already order?" I nodded to the water in front of him. He shook his head as our waiter arrived. He ordered a well-done steak, as I got a salad with grilled chicken. After the waiter left, Chris broke the silence. "Salad is what I want my food to eat. I'll never order a salad in my life." My eyes grow wide before I can get my face in check. "At least you know what you like," is all I can muster to respond. Chris slurps his empty water, then holds it up, shaking it to get the waiter's attention. I purse my lips. My salad arrives prior to his meal, but he gets his water refill at the same time. "You can go ahead and start." Chris nods towards my bowl. "Thank you. That's very considerate." Chris begins to tell me how he volunteers with a kids' basketball team, to which he brags about dunking over them every practice. I'm about halfway through my salad, but on my last nerve, when our waiter loudly announces we have to evacuate due to a fire in the kitchen. I don't need more of a sign than that. Chris turns to me once we're outside. "You know," he says, "I think my girlfriend is still the better option." My jaw dropped. He turned on his heel and roller skated away. Is it a full moon tonight or what? Guess I'll pay for lunch. This story overall was really fun to write. I really liked the how I got to make Chris like a completely horrible date and everything. I thought of a guy that maybe needs to grow up some more, figure out what he wants in life, because why are you dating someone and then going on a blind date at the same time? Especially if they have the title of girlfriend. And hopefully there aren't any Chris's out there, but I'm sure there are. I'm absolutely sure there are Chris's out there, and I wish they showed themselves more in a first date than months down the road, like many of them do. Not knocking any guys named Chris, by the way, but either way. So, as you can tell in my outline, everything stayed the same to the story. And it was really funny because I really wasn't sure where I was gonna head with this story. At one point I was thinking, well, let's make the guy married. I actually thought about gender reversing here, but I wanted to write from a female's perspective. I wanted to do first person again, because for a while there, I wasn't doing first person with these flash fictions, so I kind of wanted to practice on that. But I did have fun creating a villain. This is the first time I actually showed someone being bad instead of just saying, hey, they're bad, like in previous stories, such as Chasing the Enemy, which if you haven't heard that story, I'll put it here. Overall, I did like this story. I feel I was creative with how I used the words. I feel it flowed well. I think the parts that I struggled with this in the story was going from dialogue back to narrative, back to dialogue. I feel like I kind of struggled with that a little bit. It wasn't as free flowing, but as a story as a whole, I feel like it flowed really well. Pretty much you assume that it was a freezing cold day without me having to say anything about a jacket whatsoever. So let's go into my favorite line and my least favorite line. Least favorite line first. My least favorite line, I feel, didn't really add value to this whole story. It really could be cut completely and you would still get the strength of the story. And it's right at the beginning where Catherine says, I'm glad I texted the guy. I was going to be a minute or two late. Like that didn't progress the story. It might have said a little bit about her. Maybe she was running late in some way, but it didn't really do anything. He doesn't even say later, why were you late? Or she does apologize later, but I could have cut the text and kept the apology and you'd be like, oh, she was late. That's why he was sitting there already. But that's why I feel like that line could just be completely cut. Now, regarding my favorite lines, I have a few of them, to be honest, just because they speak to me as a woman. The first one that stood out to me was, dates lately have been feeling like a second career. If you're in the dating scene and it's been a while and you feel like you're getting one dud after another, it can kind of feel like a second career. And then also, oh my God, did you know how many videos there are on YouTube or anywhere, TikTok, about how to date, how to flirt, how to interact with the gender or sex that you are attracted to in any way, shape, or form? I thought you just said, hey, you like me, I like you, get to know each other, and then you go from there. But apparently it's a lot more complicated than it used to be, felt like over 12 years ago. So just throwing that out there. Back to this. After the waiter announces that there's going to be a fire, I like that Catherine said, I don't need more of a sign than that. Like, it's kind of letting you know that she's already just not feeling anything. And I tried to paint Chris as bad as I could without being like too over the top, but then show him as considerate because he was going to say, hey, eat your food first. But here's the thing. The part that I left out and something that I wanted to add was I wanted him to get onto her for almost finishing her food before he got his. He was going to say something along the lines of like, yeah, I told you you could start. I didn't tell you you could finish. And yeah, that was going to be an innuendo a little bit. But I just thought it was going to be really funny and I just didn't have enough for him. I wanted to make sure that Catherine didn't come across as picky in the story, like that she wasn't giving this guy a chance. Wanted her to be seen as she was giving him a chance. He just sucked at this present point in his life. Doesn't mean he wouldn't be good later as a boyfriend or whatever. He's apparently a boyfriend to somebody. Or maybe he was lying because he's nervous or something. I don't know. The other part that just made me laugh and I felt like just really was the topping on the cake is the fact that Chris roller skated away. Like, I imagine him having those Heeley shoes and she didn't realize it until he roller skates away. And she's like, what the hell just happened? And then the last line, is it a full moon or what? Like, that just, are you kidding me? Like, what is this? Am I dreaming? Did that really happen? And I think that's why I had so much fun with this, because there's a lot of times where things happen in our lives and we're just like, what just happened? And you got no explanation, no closure for what happened, but it did happen. And it's to do with as you see fit. Please comment down below if you wrote your own story, how you feel you wrote it, how you changed things. I definitely love to hear if you changed words, how you incorporated them differently than I did, or if you did it the same way. These flash fictions are so much fun. I feel like I'm really becoming a better writer by doing them, especially because it's not standing out. one story stood out as I really want to make this a big story. The other stories, not so much. And this story, I could see these characters, like this being a chapter, like expanding it into a chapter in a story as like a girl is trying to find herself as she's dating all these horrible, horrible guys. That could be a story I write one day. Maybe. We'll see. That was episode 6. I recognize it was a little bit longer than my normal episodes, but it's okay. We'll be fine. Otherwise, I hope you have a good day, a good week, a good month, and a good year.